recording? Yeah, okay. So I want to cover off a few things tonight, today, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are. First of all, the new Discord server. Then we're going to look at, a lot of people recently purchased the Slingshot Special Edition. It's going to look at Slingshot and Vwap together and marry it in with a few things. I also want to look at, in particular, range breakout on 6E. One of my apprentices was sending me some questions about an hour ago, and I was having dinner with the wife, so I'd answer this live on here as well. So we'll look at that, and then we'll see if we can look at anything else if we've got time. Okay. So why the new server? Okay. Our previous server, it was a self-build, and there were sort of problems with people trying to scam. I didn't have moderators. I didn't have all of these bots that you see in there that help sort of track and that sort of thing. So I paid somebody to build us a new server. It's still not finished yet, but it's working very, very well. I've got some great mods in there. I think Richard's already in here on this Zoom as well. There's 4 moderators, people that our users, people that I've actually physically spoken to on Zoom or something like that. So Christine or Andre, there's 4 moderators in there at the moment. As we get bigger, I'll probably ask for more volunteers. And then there's myself, Prem and Gary as well. And we have kicked out a few people already. But the idea of this is the reason why I didn't get involved in the previous one is because there was a lot of scammers, and I just felt uncomfortable that people were trying to pretend to be me. And there's only one expert, okay? So what I wanted to do is I wanted to be more in touch with the community, but I wanted to do it in a safer environment, and this, I think, should be the safer environment. I've been very active in there answering questions. We've even got something called the support ticket. So when you click on there, instead of emailing info at or wherever, if you go into the Discord server and you've got a question about a piece of software, something like that, open a support ticket. Either myself, moderators, if they know, will answer that for you. We'll be able to do screen shares and everything like that. It almost becomes a live chat once I start answering. We've already had a few. We're on a support ticket, I think 8 or 9 right now. So it does work, and I think some people in here may have used it. We've got other cool things in there. So obviously YouTube alerts and all that sort of stuff when new videos come out. We got a spam and rogues gallery. So when people try and befriend you, pretending to be me or Gary, somebody else got contacted by someone today pretending to be me. We take a screenshot, put him in there, put him in the rogues gallery, make sure he's banned, and we let everybody know there. And I want to make everybody very clear watching this video live, watching this video on YouTube. I don't need any more friends. I will not befriend you on Discord. I will not accept friend notifications. None of my team will try and befriend you and sell you something. If you have purchased something from us already, you know what we're about. You go to the website, you buy it, we support you. We don't try and personally connect with you and sell you some really weird, crappy type of scheme or something like that. We sell software. We support that software and make traders successful. We do not try and friend you and sell you something like a service or signals or something like that. We don't do it. Okay. So this is another reason why we've got the rogues gallery. So we've got trading chats. We've got trading floors for futures, trading floor for Forex there. There's trades yesterday, crypto again. Even me, I'm just sharing You know, I bought 100 shares in YBTC, and then when they paid me their first weekly dividends of $61 after tax, I shared it on there. So I'm sharing what I'm doing. In the stocks thing, I recently bought EBIS. I bought 100 shares in EBIS. Okay. So I'm updating people on that. And we want to build the community. We want to build people that want to join in. It's not the Paul Club. Okay. It's about other people joining in. We've got some voice channels, the voice lounges there. So we've got, I've been live to trial that recently. I think it was this week or last week, and it works. I can share screen. We can all go on video and start hanging out and chatting and trading and everything like that. And it's not just for me, it's for you guys to use as well. So if you want to just go into the community hangout, you want to go into the trading hub and trade and do things together, it's there for you. We've got channels on at the different platforms. So you can ask questions, whether it's Think or Swim, TradeStation, MotiveWave, TradingView, NinjaTrader, it's all there. We even have a staff lounge for us moderators and me, the founder, and everything like that. And we talk about, you know, that looks like there's some dodgy people joining. Let's keep an eye on them, all that sort of thing. So this is going to be our new, somebody else has just joined, look, okay? Our new server, which will basically be our community. You want to hang out with me almost on a daily basis. Today, I've not been active purely because I've been in meetings all day about new development projects and all that sort of stuff. It's one of those days today, but other people are in there, okay? We've got a verification robot, okay, to make sure you're a human being, and all sorts of stuff in there. Really, really good, and it's going to grow. One thing that we're building at the moment is our AI, Ask Logan. We're trying to actually put it into here, code it into here. So you can literally open Logan up, a bit like you can load ChatGPT up here. When you load that up, you can ask it questions and all that sort of stuff. So that will work there very, very well. So that's the server. Let's bring that off screen. Anybody got any questions about that before we move on? Okay. Nada. So now we're going to look at the Slingshot Special Edition. Thank you, Frederick. I'm just trying to build a community. We tried Teams. Not everybody's tech savvy and can get in there very easily. I think Discord's a lot easier as long as you can control it properly. So I actually paid someone to develop the server for us and everything. So it's really good. You keep getting invalid invite. Let me put the invite in the chat right now. Sometimes the link only lasts 7 days, and that's probably why. I've put one in the chat now. That is the Discord server. Okay. Okay. Right, we're going to talk about we've had a big influx of Slingshot special editions, which includes access to the Vwap Predator. So what I've put on here is I've mixed a few. So what I've done is got the Guardian zones on there. It's a NinjaTrader version. We'll look at Tradingview in a minute. We've got the Guardian zones on there. If I take the 60 off, you'll see the 60-minute zones disappear, 30-minute zones disappear, and then 15-minute zones there. Okay, got all those on there. I've got the Slingshot on there. I'm on the 12-minute Heikin for oil, favorite of mine. I've got the bias depth heat map underneath as well for my confirmations or denials. And I have the trading buddy running as well because I need to understand when there's data coming out. So there's some data coming here, for example, and then reactions and things like that. And also I'd like to see the correlations. So one of the biggest things for me with the correlations is all the indexes are going the same direction. They've all got a bullish bias, market behavior, is normal overhaul, so it's not a bad trading day. My correlations that I want to look at for oil are oil and copper, negative correlation there, that's good behavior. Negative correlation between CL and ES, again, good behavior. And a negative correlation between CL and ZB. Everything's pretty good right now. So I can understand just by that trading conditions are normal, okay? There's no more data except for Australian data coming out later. But, you know, during this trading day here, for example, we come into this European Open, there's no European data, there's nothing to upset the apple cart. So normal trading conditions will abide, sort of thing. Want to go through now a little bit about how we would use them, combine them together. Okay, so the Vwap Predator is about momentum. Okay, when momentum builds, we get more Vwap Predator signals, and we can add more contracts. So a lot of the time, if we have if we're in a particular trade, we'll get a VWAP signal in the same direction of the trade. It's a good time to add another contract. Okay, so if you're trading micros, start with 2-3 contracts and add them as they come along. Obviously, the Slingshot's giving us signals, like this particular one. You know, at this point, we're not at 5 p.m. yesterday. We get a type 1 buy signal at this point. We're only 5 out of 6 on the green, and we're actually got it on the data candle, so there's no way I'd be looking at that. We're getting sell signals and buy signals on the Vwap Predator here. What I've done on the Vwap Predator is I've actually, if I just go onto the indicators and show you, on the Vwap Predator itself, I've basically put transparent today. It doesn't, having those on the chart makes no difference to the algorithm calculating those signals, okay? So what I've done is tried to clean the chart up by putting all the fill colors as transparent, and the upper bands transparent. I've just left the long and the short entry colors in here for the signal bars, the MAs, all transparent, okay? So they're not, you know, trying to keep the chart as much as clean. All I've left on basically is the signal candles and the VWAP line here. Okay, so I'd just like to talk about this particular signal, type 1 sell here at 0224, 0200 hours EST is the European Gold Pit Open. So there's no coincidence that momentum starts at this point here. And then at 0300 hours EST is the London Open. So at this point here, there is a type 1 sell signal. All 6 time frames are red, okay? There is a reasonable amount of risk reward down to this next 60-minute zone. What I wanted to show you this 60-minute zone for was that if we're trading on the 12-minute, if we zoom out, we can see this 60-minute zone didn't start too long ago. It's pretty new, pretty fresh. It's okay. We should honor it. You can see this one down here is really big and strong. It's been there a while. It keeps getting tested and rejected, and that's where we are right now. Okay. So this is the sort of decision you've got to make on a risk-reward basis if you're going to take this trade. So we've got the signal, we've got the confirmation. Have we got the fresh air that suits your sort of risk profile? So one of the things we can do to measure that is use the fib extensions. If I get a sell signal, type 1 sell at this point, this is a big zone that's carried on from the previous day. I'm more interested in this pivot here, the previous pivot. When we do use the ASBs for Slingshot, the automated strategy builders, we look at previous pivots or we look at the zone. So this pivot for me would be where the stop is here. This is the entry, and we're 1-to-1 into that 60-minute zone. Take the 60-minute away, we can see we've got a 30-minute in and around target 1. It's not bad. You just got to be risk-free reasonably quickly, okay? This is quite a high time frame to use. 12 minutes, it's not for everybody. A lot of day traders like to use, you know, 3, 2 minutes, Unirenko, that sort of thing. But particularly on energy and metals, 12-minute can actually, this thing's still running, guys, okay? This is the trailing stop here for that type 1 sell signal. It's still going, okay? This thing has gone 142 ticks down to that zone, okay? It's one of those ones where we say you need to have patience. You need to be able to run reasonably high risk to begin with. There's no Guardian zones, Frederick, on TradingView, and I'm going to show you how to draw those purely because it's a cloud-based system, and I've spent in excess of $20,000 trying to get them onto TradingView, and it doesn't cope with the logic right now. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to draw them in a minute. Okay, there's nothing you can use on TradingView. You just got to learn how to draw them. So yeah. So here we see we've got a one-to-one risk reward down to that 30-minute. I'm reasonably happy with this because usually when we get the move on it does get to that zone, we can make it risk-free. Okay. Now, using the VWAP to add is it's a skill that needs to be learned. So if I've got a type 1 sell signal at this candle here, my entry is here. If I get a sell signal from the Vwap Predator within 2 candles, I'll add a contract really quickly, okay? Then we don't get another one for a while, but then we start getting it into this support and resistance zone here. We get another one trying to push through. The option here, if I just draw a line, is this candle's closed. That's the low. That's 1 tick below the low of the candle, okay? There is an option now because that's tried to push through the zone. Remember, VWAP candle has increased volume from the previous candle. So there's momentum to the downside in this particular case. It's opened on one side of a VWAP extension and closed on the other. Okay, so there's quite a lot of criteria for that to basically it shows momentum. So what I would look at in this situation here is I'd look at adding another contract if it went through that line on the very next candle. It didn't. Cancel the order. Okay, let the 2 contracts run because you got 2 contracts running down here. You go risk-free once we test this and it comes back up again on this candle, go risk-free, okay? And then when it starts to print that trailing stop, every time a candle closes, adjust your trailing stop. Really, really simple. Now, we come into some more, we have a pullback into another pullback zone, okay? We get a type 1 signal at this point on this zone here. We've got too much down here. We've got big candles. We've just had US data at this point. It's really choppy, but this too close together US data's here, the PMI, as basically as we've been pushing up from this zone, come into this zone, come into the pullback zone, and then it's reversed, okay, after the data. We've got a type 1 sell, we've got confluence with a sell signal from the Vwap Predator. The only thing we haven't got is fresh air, okay? So I get a sell signal, a sell signal, a sell signal. There is frigging momentum building here. Where am I going to go? This one is the first one to breach this zone here, okay? So 1 tick below, when it breaches, I add my 3rd contract. Now, why would I add a 3rd contract all the way from there? Okay, you're basically getting that 3rd contract for a quick run, okay, down to this next zone. Don't be afraid to, now you're in 3 contracts, to actually take everything off when it hits that next zone there, or take one of the contracts off, okay? Put a limit order, a stop limit order of 1 contract. I mean, this little ride with momentum for this extra contract was worth 40 ticks. That's $400. Okay. So don't be afraid if you understanding the behavior here right from the European Open, you've had a great entry. You're on 2 contracts. It's pushed down, it's coming through. Yes, some of this support is holding. We're getting reactions to data. The trading stop's not been taken out. Then we get this type 1 sell. We get a confluence of the Vwap Predator. All 6 timeframes are red on the Guardian zones. We just need some fresh air. So we wait for that, for a signal candle to try and push through. That's the signal candle there. None of these have breached it. This one has. 1 tick below, add a 3rd contract. Just take that 3rd contract off at that point. Take that $400, leave the 2 contracts on, and now we are still trailing this. Obviously, it's getting later in the day. You might be wanting more aggressive. You could put the trailing stop just above this zone right here, right now. Just leave it. You know, it's got a lot of work to do around here. So the idea is, you know, we're looking for those confluences, but we're also looking for opportunities. So let's go to the previous day. We can see at this point here, we get a type 2 and a type 1 sell. You know, it's okay. It's not brilliant. It's a little move. Trading stop goes all the way to here, though. Okay. There is opportunities to add another contract at this point. Not really me. I like the ones testing the zones. And I'm not saying this is the right time frame for everybody. I like the 12-minute. It's easier when you've got a bigger trading account. You don't mind the risk involved, and you're prepared to let it run for quite a while. And to be honest, you just need to nip back to the computer and alter the trailing stop every 12 minutes or every half an hour. You know, it's not, once momentum starts going, it's not, you don't have to sit there in front of the screen. So that's the Slingshot and the Vwap together. I've got the Guardian zones on there because it's the NinjaTrader version, and I've got the bias depth heat map. Everybody should have the bias depth heat map. It's your go, no-go gauge. Also, then I've actually built that within the Trading Buddy. Trading Buddy is very important for me. I don't have it on every chart set. I have it on a chart set for each instrument. So if I'm having an oil one, Trading Buddy goes on just one of those. I bring gold across. Right, this is the gold chart that I've actually got the Trading Buddy on as well. Okay, a lot of neutrality with gold right now with the correlation, so gold's not tradable, and you know that's what we're looking at there. Right, any questions on the NinjaTrader version before I go to Tradingview? I'll find it first. Okay. No questions. Come on, 10 seconds to go. Okay. Okay, Tradingview. Now, with Tradingview, I usually have a 4 chart set with Tradingview. Again, I have Tradingview Pro. I am not allowed to have a normal Tradingview because I'm a professional trader. They won't allow it. I tried it for a while because it's less money. Don't like spending money. But they caught up with me. I have to pay the whatever it is, a few $1,000s a year instead of 500 or whatever it is. So it does afford me a lot more alerts, a lot more charts, but in reality, I only need 4 for me. So what I want to do is, so I've got British pound, Japanese yen. This is a trade we did yesterday live in the Discord group. Okay, I can trade anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, really, I have no emotional attachment to any instrument. I just look at the behavior, work it out, and trade it. Yeah. But this is how you would look at this. So first of all, we need to draw support and resistance zones. We're not really interested in anything above an hour if we're day trading. So I've put this on an hour. Okay. Now this is not rocket science, and this is something once you've done, you can sort of put it on the other chart sets with the same instrument, but also just keep adding to it as well. Okay, what the Guardians does is it saves that time for you. It's very accurate. It's an algorithm. It does it on multiple time frames straight away. So first of all, it's bloody obvious that there is a double top right up here. Okay, So that's, in theory, that's 2 touches. I like 3 or more touches of a zone. The zone is dictated by highs and lows. There's my high, there's my lows on that pivot. I'm going to shove that out to the right. That's my 60-minute zone. I always use pink for 60-minute, by the way. Okay, I can even look left and transcribe that left a little bit, and we can see here, oh, look at that. Okay, we have decision points, so many in that zone. It's a strong zone. Right. Now, that doesn't affect the price where we are right now, but it may do in the near future. So we need to understand that that's going to be on our chart. The next thing to do, because we've got a 4 chart set, is click on there, sync in layout. Okay. So now if I just go to the 4 chart layout, okay, and I zoom out a little bit, you'll see on that 10-minute, that's where the 60-minute, that 60-minute zone is, just up there. Okay. We're going to look at a few more. Okay. What I'm doing is I'm using my crosshair and I'm looking at major pivots that are useful for me both up and down. So I see another one here. Okay. So I can see this massive pivot where we pulled down. That draws my attention straight away. But also then, if I look all the way right, we can see we've just had this pivot here. Just going to take that down a touch more, and I'll tell you why in a minute before I extend it out to the right. You see this pivot here, this pivot here, this pivot here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 touches. This recent, as was a test, and it's come back down again. That's a very strong 60-minute zone. I need that on my chart. And what do I do again? Click on it, sync in layout. Okay. Now, this is coming down. What's going to affect us coming down? Well, look at this pivot here, for example, and this pivot here. We need to understand there's actually a lot probably going off around that sort of price zone. So again, once we start to draw, we can adjust. Okay. I don't want to be too fat, but what I want to do is there. So this recent rejection, I want to make sure I've got that in there. Okay. This rejection here, I've got that in there. Here, testing from a bit from a below as well. Good zone. So, what's the next one down if it breaks here? This one was on its own. It's a lone wolf. I don't think that is very relevant. This double bottom, maybe. But again, we've got to look left and we've got to understand if there's anything else along that sort of track that's going to help us. No, it's not. Okay. So we've got quite a bit of fresh air under there. Not to say, in fact, we have got a small zone here. If I just pick out this pivot. Here, okay. We've got a lot of support underneath here. So I'm not interested in trading in this bit. Well, I'm interested in it if it does break here. There's a hell of a lot of room to the downside to this next sort of this double bottom pivot here. It's a very small zone, but I'm still going to put it in. Okay. So this is what's called framing your chart. So this is, obviously we use this as part of the operational landscape when we talk about the trading buddy, but this framing your chart is something that you need to be skilled at if you haven't got NinjaTrader and the Guardian zones and everything else. So this is first part of it. So now we're going to go down to 30 minutes. Okay. So what I'm interested in now is you say, well, it's a half of 60, but I might see some really relevant zones that is going to come in and maybe sometimes overlapping and have confluence with those 60-minute zones. That's important to me for what's going to happen right now. So I am going to change the color once I start drawing, but right now I can see this double bottom here. okay, and I can see this pivot here, and then we're going to draw that in, and we're going to overlap with that pivot there here. So I use green for 30-minute zones, okay. I'm going to sync in layouts. Did I do those other ones? I can't remember. Sync in layout. Sync in layout. Okay. That's relevant to me. I've had some tests into there that didn't get picked up by the 60-minute zones. Another pivot just in here, and that's slightly overlapping the 60, which is good for me. I can see another one within this 60-minute zone with these pivots here and here. Okay, so we've got about 5 touches here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 at the top, 12 at the top. Again, so this is where we've got what's called a confluence zone. So we've got 30 and the 60-minute there. Have we got anything in the middle that's really going to upset the apple cart right now? Probably not on the 60, on the 30, but on the 15, definitely. In fact, we've got one on the 30 here. Okay. Now you think there's no room to trade in there. Remember, this is a 30-minute chart. Okay. If you're doing this because you're trading off a 3-minute or a 5-minute or something like that. So now the next thing is go to the 15 minutes. So we're interested in going, really sort of granular. Is there anything in reality that's let's just adjust that 30 down to there. That's okay. So 15-minute always in cyan. So a new 15-minute is this here. Okay. Just going to change the color. So I'm looking at these touches here in particular, really, really granular there. That's a good 15-minute zone. Did I sync in layout? There we go. Okay, so we have got 2 points here and 1 point there. 1 point. No, I think we need to look at this. You've got to find areas where there's a lot of congestion. So here, for example, that is a 15-minute zone there. Okay, 2 touches from the top. Okay, we're clustering into there. Touch from the bottom, touch from the bottom, touch from the bottom. Okay, and then we've tested it from the top. It's rebounded off. Then we've got a lot of clustering here. Finally, it's broken through. They do get broken through, by the way. It's nothing set in stone. Very recently, and we're talking at this point here, we've had more than 3 touches on this zone. Very important as well. So we've actually framed our chart. So now we want to just make sure we sync in layout. Sync in layout. And we've done that one already. So I've used this chart in particular to be able to just to build that operational landscape, really. Okay. Now, hey, lo and behold, it's on the other chart. So whether I'm using the Vwap Predator, the expert algo, whatever it is, doesn't matter the time frames right now, you can just see it on that other chart. So let's go to this particular time frame here. Now, what we got, in fact, I've got the wrong time frame. I think I put it on that one, actually. Okay, so I want to go now to 3-minute Vwap Predator Slingshots. Again, with the Vwap Predator, if we go to the style, we can get rid of the lower bands. Makes no difference to the signal candle. Okay, we can get rid of the fast and slower EMA. We can get rid of these bands here. Let's clean the chart up. It looks pretty, don't get me wrong, I'm very proud of it. But when you're starting to put it in with other indicators like the Slingshot, try and keep it as clean as possible, because you've got to have those support and resistance zones on your chart. It's the law. Okay, you need that operational landscape. You don't want to be trading into trouble. So what that does is frees up a lot of the chart. I've left the VWAP on there. That gives me a good idea where I'm going. And then obviously we can look at some signals on this GBP Japanese yen. And so if you're trading this, you've got to think of the times of the day when it's going to be really active. So Japanese yen gives you a clue. Asian session, okay? Or the start of the Asian session, going into that the British stroke European session as well. So we can see that what we do here is it's very, very important that we can see that I mean, look at this, okay? This price action in this zone, there's no way we're going to trade out of that. We get a pullback. We don't get a signal on the slingshot, okay? All is not lost at this point. We know we've measured a pullback. It's pulled back and found resistance in this zone. Whoops, it's just added another candle. Hang on. I'm right on the limit, so let's just put that to 8,000. Okay, the problem with me is I think I go back 25,000 candles, so it's a bit different. So, okay, look, let's just talk about the behavior, and my apprentices and those that have gone on the Expert Academy will understand this, is that we can see this behavior happening in here very, very well. But now we've pulled back and we've found confluence in this 15-minute zone, in this pullback zone. It's going to go short, but we're not going to short into support with this 30-minute zone. Not on your Nelly, okay? Now we start to push through. We're getting, we're really getting into the Asian session now because this is EST time, okay? We've finally pushed through. Hey, we get a Vwap Predator signal. Okay, just look back at the behavior. We've gone sideways through the US session. It's tried to push down. It's failed. It's pulled back. It's pulled back into a pullback zone. That pullback zone wasn't broken. Then it's coming back. Then we get a VWAP Predator signal saying go short. Momentum's building to the short side. But we follow the rules. We follow the rules that says don't short into support. Let it do the work and get through the mud first. It does that. When that momentum starts to build again, we get another signal at this point. We've got fresh air. We've got confirmation from the bias depth heat map. We go short all the way down to this 15-minute zone and we take profit. We don't mess around, just take the profit. Yeah, really, really simple. There's no perfect storm when you're using indicators. It's about understanding the behavior that leads up to that and what's happening, why it's happened, what's your operational landscape. The signals are an algorithm that rely on rules. The rules are met, it gives you a signal. And those signals for different strategies. So a slingshot it's going in a certain direction, it pulls back, and then it gives you a signal in the direction of that original trend. Vwap Predator, once momentum starts to build, it allows you to trade that momentum. So two different strategies, but they can be used very well together. And that's why we include them in that particular bundle with the Slingshot Special Edition. Obviously, this has gone very quiet now because, there's nothing going off. It's sort of midday USA, nothing really going off. And again, it's about understanding your instrument, really. Because your instrument has good times of the day, good days of the week when it trades, and other days it's flat. Understanding that is very, very important. Okay, let's switch that off. Let's just go now to I know we've had this discussion in the Discord group quite a bit, and your ATR 14 here. So yesterday was 0.3, it's now 0.15. So right. So Tradingview is very, very special. So it takes a Renko, but it puts it on a 3-minute chart as well. So 3-minute is time-based, but Renko is not time-based. Average true range is time-based, but Renko is not. So you've got a hybrid here that average true range will change throughout the day or from day to day, purely because of a few reasons. One, if you're trading Forex, that Forex is provided by your particular broker. In this particular, it's Pepperstone, okay? Your Forex broker will manipulate the data, the price, spread, the volume, okay? So it will be slightly different for every broker. And that's the way the world works in Forex. In futures, it doesn't. CME, that's it. There's no manipulation of data. There's no manipulation of volume or price. It's the same. Brokers make money on the fees that they charge you to go in and out. Okay. Forex is a different industry, and it's a lot. Everything's manipulated a lot more. It's still very tradable. And I made nearly $600 yesterday, and never traded Japanese GBP, Japanese yen. We were talking about the Discord group. I was mucking around trying to find the right chart set, took a trade and won money. Okay. So it is tradable. But what you've got to think of is you've got to find the groove. Now, right now, ATR 14 on this 3-minute is 15. Okay. So if I go to change that to a 45-second chart, it will look different. Yeah, it will look very different. And we've got a 0.03 on the ATR there. So it's gone flat and crap now. But there are opportunities to trade at certain times of the day, okay? 45 seconds might not be right, 30 seconds. Now, when I say 30 seconds, it's not a 30-second chart. It's a hybrid between 30 seconds, Renko, ATR 14, okay? Very complicated. I'm not going to teach how to do it because, to be honest, I don't really care, okay? I don't really care how it's calculated. I understand what's visual on the chart, and that's important to you as well. It's about finding the groove. Yeah, type 1, type 2 buy here, really, really solid trade. Yeah. Now we're thinking, what about all this? We missed loads of trades there. Let's add the Vwap Predator. It still works, okay, on this time frame, on this chart type, I should say. Again, what we want to do is clean that up. So let's go to Vwap Predator. Let's get rid of a lot of the crap out of the way. I say crap, it's not crap. It's very pretty. But again, if you're combining, let's just get rid of all that. Yeah. So we've got opportunities. For me, we're below the VWAP at this point. We get a sell signal. We're not going to sell into that 15-minute. We've done our hard work. We know we're not going to short into support. But what happens? It pulls back. Didn't quite get the pullback zone we needed, but guess what? I would trade that straight off. As soon as I got a brick close below that 15-minute zone, I would trade the short to the next zone. Why? Because I'm confident in the zones that I draw. The way I drew those is the way the logic was built for the Guardian zones, but obviously there's more logic in there when to take them away when they're being tested. We keep them when they're broken a percentage of the times. We take them away or we adjust them. That's all done by algorithms. You just need to learn it if you're using Tradingview. Okay, you know, there are huge opportunities here. So let's look at this again. In the evening, US, Asia's waking up, GBP, Japanese yen. This is what we call pretty damn perfect. Okay, so we're coming down, we come up, we get a type 1 sell. This confluence to me is just phenomenal. 15-minute VWAP pullback zone, type 1 sell, go. Okay, we get a sell signal on the VWAP here, potentially add, sell signal here, potentially add another type 2 on a pullback, go sell here. Okay, this is the best one. We get type 2 sell, get momentum building, we get a sell signal here. This is on day trading, by the way. I need to change that. So I can tell that straight away. Scalping. Okay, and then we go. Yeah, very, very simple. And it doesn't matter whether it's Forex futures or whatever, it's the same thing. But what I wanted to cover off on TradingView was you need that ability to draw those multi-time frame charts in. You can see, look, I drew this in off hourly 30 and 15-minute charts. Look what's happening right now on this 30-second Unirenko ITR 14, bouncing off, okay? If you get these decision points right, these zones of price, they're very, very sticky. This is why the Guardian zones are one of the best products that I've ever produced. It took a year to build, but they are extremely sticky zones. And for $100 a month, you know, it's nothing. And it keeps you out of trouble. It really, really does. So we've done that. We've got 15 minutes left. I'm going to bring over now a ASB chart for range breakout. Why? Because I've had a question from one of my apprentices. So he asked why this European trade wasn't taken. It's because this 15-minute zone there. I got that checked, 15-minute previous zones. But the main thing for me as well is the data series looks back at least 90 days. If you don't look back at least 90 days with ASBs, it doesn't bring enough data to put the Guardian zones on. As simple as that, okay? So with this here, we can see we had, now this is an automated strategy, okay? There are rules. It will not trade into that resistance. What it will not do is recognize that once there and put a trade on there. Probably that's my next iteration to say, okay, we're doing a range breakout. We break here. The next rule is we can't take that trade because we're not going to go long into that resistance. But if the end of that zone is our entry, what's our risk to reward? If it's more than end number risk to reward, we could take a long trade at that point. So, you know, we look at stop here, entry there. It's 1 to 1.5 or something like that to the next zone. It was a decent trade. So if you're trading this manually, you would spot that, okay? The thing is, I always see instances where I say, well, let's add this to the ASB, let's add this to the ASB. We all don't run supercomputers, okay? I've got a liquid cooled super duper computer right underneath this desk here. I've got the same one in Spain, same one in the UK, got loads of monitors. Everybody's the same. Okay, this is why we advocate using VPSs because they're very powerful. But we can't add too much to an ASB without slowing the machine down. And that's the thing, is not everybody's got 128 gig of RAM or 64 gig of RAM. They're the latest gen i9, a liquid cooled bloody 2 friggin' whatever you call them, graphics cards and all the other gubbins that goes in them. So we have to build it for the average Joe that's got at least 32 gig of RAM, minimum i7, and they will work. So there are trades on these. But again, if we're not, for me as a trader, if I'm trading 6E and I've got a European Open strategy, I'm going to be there to oversee it. So if for example, we know it hasn't taken the trade purely, it won't take the trade because the rules are you need a minimum risk reward to the next Guardian zones. So for me personally, I know that's not going to take the trade. What do? I put a stop market order on just above here. Okay. I can put a stop limit order on to take profit in the middle of that zone or where that confluence of zones is here. You can see them overlapping, but definitely be out before the London Open. Yeah. We didn't get a New York Gold Pit Open trade because there was a neutral bias, and you can see that down on the bias depth heat map as well, and that range breakout is bias as well. With gold, there's been I only trade this on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Why is that not come up there? Let me just he didn't take a trade today because I know this is a test rig. I've got it on my live account. He didn't take a trade on gold today. So last week was the big trade. And I know in the Discord, some people got this trade. This was the European Open, and it just kept going and going and going all the way to the close. 400 and something ticks this was. 460 ticks. Okay. Now, this doesn't happen every day. It doesn't even happen every week. But it happens if it happens once a month, and it makes you for one contract $4,600 or two contracts, whatever. I think one guy had it on for 5 contracts. You know, that's all you need. You don't need that many trades in a 90-day period. What it does is finds the right opportunities to trade. There wasn't a right opportunity to trade today because we were going to go into resistance. That's where we come in as traders and say, automated strategy isn't going to trade that open, but there is a lot of fresh air. I'm talking about the 6E here. There is a lot of fresh air just above that 15-minute zone. I'm interested. I'll put a manual order on, okay? Because we can't think of every single scenario. Now, if I see a pattern where that scenario occurs, a good proportion of the time, it's something I can talk to the developer and add. We're on version 5.3 of this, okay? On Slingshot, we're on version 3 point something or other. I will always look and spend money on building and updating these things because I come across instances where, do you know what, I think that would be good. And a little update on what we're developing this year is that we're building AI. Okay, we're building AI that will do a few things. Okay, so let me find a chart. You see, where's that? Okay, so at the moment, we manually do those optimizations, and it takes a little time. That's fine. Okay, it's a process. You get to learn. You do it properly. But, and as we can see for a Slingshot here, we've got all of these filters. A lot of them are default, but we do change things like maximum risk, the minimum required bias depth heat map, the Guardian zone's minimum risk reward. We can change it to a fib percentage, or we can change it to target 2. We can do the order. We've got a buffer technology in there. We can say, actually, if it doesn't go within 2 candles, cancel the order. Where the stop loss adjust, all that sort of thing. But they're filters that we change manually. We optimize, we get the right groove, and we do the same for type 2, same for type 3. We say the heat maps on scalping, and we tell them which Guardian zones are enabled and disabled. Just bear with me a second. So, that takes time. But also one of the things with any particular strategy is that it's in the groove on certain chart sets and time frames because, behavior changes. So we get big miss on PMI, employment, all that sort of stuff. It will reset those levels for a start, those zones, those support and resistance zones, and it will reset the behavior. So sometimes we have to change. So what we're doing with AI, so at the moment, we'll look at this and we say, okay, strategy performance report on 4/12/20. I am running this as well, is, max drawdown's quite high right now, okay? When we look at the analysis and the summary, we can look at entry times, go half hour of the day, and we can see there's some losing clusters in there. We can see some really winning clusters. So we will build an AI, and we're going to build the machine learning in this next 6 months. So it will say, okay, so what if we ran this simulation on a different data series. So if I went to 3915, for example, and we click apply. So because I haven't disabled the strategy, that previous performance report is there. I just wanted to show you how the machine or the AI will look at it. So then when I put performance report on this chart set and bring that over, we can see on the analysis, entry time, half hour of the day. So there's a difference in clusters of winners and losers, okay? So the first module of our AI will say, okay, we're going to run it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minute, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minute Heikin-Ashi. And then we're going to look at on all the lost permutations of Heikin, Uni Renko, whatever it is. And then it'll spurt out the top 3 chart sets, timeframes, and say, this is the one that's in the groove right now. Okay. Then it'll say, do you want to optimize? And you'll say yes. And you'll choose which one, and it'll run the optimizations. Then it will spurt out a template. Okay, a template for you to run. In the meantime, then that template gets put in the third section of the AI, which runs simultaneous with the markets to say, actually, now we need to re-optimize. These are the suggestions. Do you want to accept? Yes, press a button, and the new template comes out, and away we go again. That will take a year to build, a lot of money, but I think it will make this process a lot easier. Okay. So we'll be able to say, are you day trading or scalping? And you'll say scalping. Or which strategy do you want to use? Slingshot. And there'll be a drop down menu, Slingshot, blah, blah, blah. And what instrument. Okay. And then it will do that first thing and say, right, these are top 3 timeframes. Okay. And then go on and so forth. Okay. So a little bit about what we are doing this year. We are developing an app. The Stocks Predator is coming along. This was a total rebuild, by the way, guys. Absolute, it's just been horrendous. But we're on target to get that out by the end of March. And with that first iteration will have 3 confluences. We're going to be having a scanner for the expert algo, roller coaster, and the bias test heat map. Okay, so it will scan to initially 4,000 stocks and ETFs every single day, and see the scan results will come out for each one, no problem. But also then it will look for ones in confluence. But the biggest thing that we've done really is, with the old version, you couldn't use drawing tools, and we couldn't protect our software. Okay, so what we're doing in this particular version, although we're using a Tradingview-esque chart, it's written in a different script, and we are able to have all the drawing tools on there. We're able to put the indicators on there that are protected. So my intellectual property is being protected, okay, because it's me. Yeah. So then what we'll do is we'll then start to add all of the other indicators within there, so you can use them on the chart during phase 2 and 3. And then during phase 2, we'll start to add that unusual options activity back into the scanners, the insider activity as well. One of my ex-apprentices has put together the logic for another scan for a specific type of options trade, which I really like. Very difficult to do manually because you've got to do a lot of work, but I'm going to speak to the developers just to see if we can build a scan for that as well. So yeah, everything's going really well with that. Any more questions about Slingshot, Vwap Predator, the Discord group, anything really? Even the one I put in the chat can't be invalid because I just did it. I get excited because I've been in tech development meetings all day, guys, and that really trading for me is boring now. Okay. It's something I've been doing for a long time. It's easy and it doesn't really sort of get my sort of energy going. But I've had a day full of development meetings for different projects. Vwap Predator, sorry, Stocks Predator. We're building a new app this year, a Confluence app. We've got the AI it's just been loads of tech stuff today. Christine, you won't do a great deal yourself in the future with if we can get the AI working properly, you'll just make the decision. So you'll be the human that says, yes, I accept. Then it will churn out your XML spreadsheet. We will be collecting data as soon as we start building machine learning, for example. So and we will always collect data. And whenever a user uses the AI optimization tool, it will collect that data that it's done, and we will deposit that data, and we will use that data for machine learning continually. So in theory, by the time we launch this thing and people are using it, it will get really, really, really great results. But the most important thing is that it will identify when we need to re-optimize, and it will suggest those re-optimization parameters. And if you say yes, it can churn out the template. You'll load the template up and just go. You won't need to run on sim because we will have a supercomputer AI running all the permutations, telling you what chart set is, for your instrument and your type of trading and the strategy they're using, is in the groove right now. If it goes out of the groove, it'll tell you straight away. I hope so, Christine, because my grey matter is shrinking. Okay. I can't remember everything anymore. There's only so much memory that I've got. My RAM is full. I can't upgrade. Okay, guys, it is just after 10 p.m. here, so I am going to call it a day. Thanks very much for attending today. And please, guys, if you're watching this recording, there's going to be a permanent link for the Discord. It's not just Discord, it's a community. It's grown really well. And when you come on there and you get up in the morning, say good morning, okay? People respond. What are you trading today? Hang out in these voice channels, even if it's just in the community hangout or the trading hub if you're trading. Okay, let's make it valuable to you. I've paid to get it invested. I'm going to be paying for people to code shit into this that's never been coded into Discord before. Okay, I want to make it the place that people can go trade, be successful together using the technology that we produce to make a difference. Okay. Okay, guys, I'll speak to you all really soon. Have a great month, and I'll see you in the next month. But again, if you come into the Discord, you might see me once or twice a week. Okay.